I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Woo, woo!
Yeah. Hey, everyone.
I don't know what that was.
Woo, woo.
What's up, you guys? Thank you again for joining us for another after show of Grey's Anatomy. I'm your host, Finney Adams, and boy, was this a show!
Oh
Before
my
we
gosh.
get into it, I have to introduce you to these amazing ladies right here. To the left of me, she is a know-it-all about Grey's Anatomy. She wasn't here last week, which was why our Doctor Who was not that great, because she is the best at it, Miss Lanisha.
Hey guys, I missed y'all, and I'm sure you held it down, but I cannot
No.
wait to play Doctor Who with you guys.
Yes,
It's gonna be
yes.
fun.
And
Same.
to the left of Lanisha, this girl has been watching Grey's Anatomy since the beginning. She knows everything about everything. If you quiz us, she will get 100. I will get 0, unfortunately, even though I've been watching it from the beginning also. But Miss Haley.
Hey everyone. Hey, you got to give yourself more credit than that, Benny. But I
thank
have been
you.
watching since day one. I love Grey's Anatomy, and I just have a freakishly good memory. So at least we got that going for
Hey,
us.
own it.
I
Own
do.
it.
I'm like, I just have a very, very good memory.
All right, so we have a lot to talk about today, including, like you guys said, our Doctor Who, and then we have some special news and gossip about Karev.
Yes.
And then we have our predictions. So let's just get right into it. What did you two think about this show?
It was insane. Like, and it's not going in the right way that I want. All these relationships are blowing up in my face, and it's just, I feel bad. I feel sad. I feel angry.
Yeah.
I feel all around everything.
Yeah, for me, I was like middle of the way on this episode. Like I wasn't too high on it, wasn't too low on it. It was a good episode. I think they moved a lot of the storylines really well. Not again in the way that we necessarily would hope, but overall it was a really solid episode.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the episode. Each storyline was really good to me. There was only
Yeah.
one little storyline, a tiny smidget storyline that we'll get into later, that I was just, about.
Like
and
why?
And I think you two would agree with me, but we'll talk about that soon. But let's talk about DeLuca's. This was my favorite. DeLuca is starting to become more of a 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional character, and I love what they're doing with him. You know, tying in this, I don't know if you want to call it illness, but they called it
Mania.
Yeah,
Mhm.
mania. And
So it's close to like bipolar. Like it's like associated with that. It's when your moods are very up and very down.
Got it. And yeah, I love how they're tying that into his father, but I also love the fact that, you know, they're continuing this patient storyline, and she eventually got a happy ending, but it wasn't that much of a happy ending with DeLuca. Do you see the resemblance that DeLuca has with his father?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll let you go because I know you were talking about it. out there.
we both kind of had the same conclusion that it gave us a lot of vibes of when we saw his father in the episodes where he was trying to do the baby in a sack, and he was so determined and so dedicated, and he felt like it was such a good idea, and he was so high on this idea, but then in reality, like to everyone around him, he was just acting crazy. And I didn't necessarily think of it. I just kind of thought that DeLuca was really passionate about this patient, and I mean on lack of sleep and working as much as he is, like all those symptoms to me and him being on edge seemed a little more on the normal side. Like I was kind of more favoring how Meredith was viewing the situation, but obviously when his sister brings it up, and that's when it just kind of starts to escalate, when she's the one who is like, no, the symptoms have been there, you just haven't seen them.
Yeah, mainly for me when he said like this could work, it brought me all the way back to when the dad was just like this could work, and I was just like, wow, like father like son.
Yeah, okay, so I have to say I didn't see it when he was talking to Miranda. I didn't see it. I saw it towards the end when he was talking to Meredith, because like you said, this was a patient that he's trying desperately to save. He wasn't getting any sleep. He wasn't eating. He was agitated, and he just wanted to save her life. So in my head, that's what I'm thinking. You know, the guy is just tired, and he's desperate, and he wants something to go right. But towards the end, I did see it. I'm like, hey, this guy, he really does have a problem, and he needs help. Do you think that he's in the wrong for how he was treating Meredith when she was trying to, tell him, hey, you need to calm down, you need to get some sleep.
Most definitely, but at the same time, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
Like, he has a disease. But this episode honestly made me blame the other doctor, Dr. Riley.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was mostly mad at her. Because it's like, you see there's something wrong with DeLuca. Like,
see, I kind of disagree because I think more or less that right now we're definitely at like a pivotal point of DeLuca's storyline. I definitely think this is the first episode of what we're about to dive into with this mental illness that he has. And I definitely think that it's just, I mean, Dr. Riley actually said it best. It's muddy waters because Meredith, I did think, was almost overstepping and clouding her judgment because it is her boyfriend.
Right.
So she was caring too much. But then Dr. Riley was also making valid points in that she needed someone to be doing this because if he wasn't persistent and as determined as he was, they wouldn't have found it. Because didn't it end up being the disease that at the beginning of the episode, he was like, Meredith, I was reading through some of your past notes, whatever it was, and what is this syndrome? What is it? What is it? And that's what it ended up being because they decided to test her bone marrow. And so had he not done that, they may have not have ever gotten to this point.
Right.
So it's like, it's just incredibly muddy waters that I guess I want to know from y'all's opinion, like if Meredith was removed from the situation, do you think it would be as muddy?
yes, because I do think that as a doctor, I think any profession that works that many hours, you should get your sleep.
Oh, for sure.
What if he was wrong? This is like flipping a coin. I could be right. I could be wrong. What if he was wrong?
Yeah, it's definitely a sticky situation. I myself wouldn't blame Dr. Riley because, like I said before, me as someone from the outside seeing how DeLuca is acting, and if I didn't know his family history, I would just think, oh, he's tired, he's agitated, he just wants this person to live, and that's probably what Dr. Riley is thinking. I don't think she knows.
With her knowing that, not the disease part, the tired part, with her knowing how tired he is.
But
you couldn't have shift.
But she also gave reasons behind it. You know, like she knew that he was in that situation, and like not to the same extent because I don't have a mental illness, but I do the same thing. Like I take on a lot of workload, and I don't like in the same way. Like DeLuca never was gonna be like, this is too much for me.
Right.
So for me, I think a better solution might have been had Meredith stepped in as general of surgery and been like, hey, I will take over some hours for him. I will make sure he catches me up. I will step in so he can go sleep.
But that's what she technically did.
Well, she.
But see, I disagree with her taking them off the case.
Yeah.
DeLuca needed to be because she saw the sign of his dad.
What I disagreed with was when Miranda ordered that all the medications start going back to her.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're making some progress.
Yeah.
And by doing that, Dr. Riley said it perfectly. All of that trauma that she's going through was for nothing. So that's what I didn't agree with.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with you on that part. I don't think that should have been changed.
Yeah. Let's move on to Amelia's storyline. I'm a little disappointed in her.
My notes were like, no!
Yeah.
You know, Amelia is usually my favorite person, but I have to say, I have to go with Link. What do you guys think?
For me, the one thing I did like about Amelia's storyline was actually Maggie. I like the way Maggie came in as a sister. Maggie really hit the nail on the head several times. Like when she was like, okay, are you sure you don't want to talk about what's going on in your head? Because typically if you're not talking about it, you're going in a spiral of basically destruction, which is true. That's why Amelia has thought vomit all the time, because she needs to get out what's going on in her head out in the world. I do the same thing. And so with that situation, like the Maggie and Amelia made me happy, but then it was just kind of almost like a WTF when she basically was like, I choose my sisters. Like that's basically how I took it, was that she was like, I know that I can raise this child on my own with my sisters. I don't need a man. And like props to her and I respect her for it, but like,
but you
why?
have someone who's willing to step up.
Yep.
He came to the house. You guys could have had a conversation. I mean, I love how Maggie was just like, it's probably just the hormones.
Like let's hope.
Like come back later when she's off, when she's good.
Yeah. And
I hope he doesn't give up.
He won't. I hope so. But I also love how Maggie, even though Maggie was there for Amelia, she was also very honest.
Yes.
And she said, I understand what Link is going through.
Yeah.
And I would be scared and I would be nervous also. And anyone would in that situation. He deserves the right to know if he is the real father of this baby. He never said, oh, I'm not gonna step up and take care of this kid if it isn't. But he just wants to know, and I don't think you can fault him for that.
But he also didn't give a clear answer, because she asked him directly, like, will you still love me? And he just didn't answer. That would kind of scare me too.
I think yes, it would scare me, but at the same time, like, she just dropped this gigantic piece of news on him, and he needed time to process. Like, I don't think that it was right of her to basically give him an ultimatum, like, either you love me or you don't, tell me right now. Like, he needed to process everything and to be able to address the situation the best way he could.
Yeah.
Like, to me, because we kind of were talking about this as we were all watching, and let us know in the comments. I'm in the live chat right now if you agree or disagree with us on this, but I think that Link is almost in the right and Amelia's kind of in the wrong right now.
100.
Like, we talked about, like, Maggie, I thought every single thing that Maggie said about if I was Link, like, her whole little monologue or whatever that she had right there, like, it was accurate. I was like, yes, this is 100% what Link is thinking.
I see both sides, and it's really messy, and I don't think it's like a more so a black and white situation. I think it's in the that blurry line of, you gotta kind of be in this person's shoes to understand what they're processing and what they're thinking.
I just don't get, if she doesn't want to be with either of them, why not just go figure out which one of them is the father?
Now that I do agree on. She does need to get that test.
Like, she's so adamant about not, like, I understood when she didn't want to find out because she wanted to be with Link. So it's like, you want to be with Link. I understand not wanting to want to know the actual father of your baby. Like, the three of you can pretend like you never said anything. But then now that she has chosen not to be with Link and she still isn't going to get it, it's like,
and not tell Owen.
I have a prediction for that whole situation.
She's digging a hole deeper and deeper and deeper for herself, because eventually Owen's gonna find out.
Oh yeah.
Freaking Joe, like,
with her big mouth.
Like,
oh my
come on, man. And then the elevator, I for sure thought that was gonna be when Owen finds out.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought it was just gonna click.
It was so uncomfortable. I didn't think it was going to click. I thought that we were going to have a flippin' personality and Link was going to have thought vomit and just let it out and be like, because he kept kind of like, Owen just kind of kept like chipping a little bit, like, hey, is she okay? I noticed she's not here. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was just waiting for him to be like, the baby might be yours.
I thought that was going to happen when the elevator opened. Like, the baby's yours, Owen. Like,
and then the elevator closes and then Owen's just staring. And then it goes to commercial break.
Y'all should let us in the writing room. We'll correct it for you.
That was crazy. I feel for Link in this situation. And I've said this in past after shows. He is being a very stand-up guy in this scenario. Maggie was in this storyline, but I really want to talk about this very small storyline that I just didn't get. It was when Jackson all of a sudden appeared and he apologized to Maggie. And I was just like, where is this coming from? This is so awkward. So we were talking, we were like, he had to have been in Station 19 prior.
A lot of the fans were saying, like, he's been making a lot of appearances in Station 19.
So there had to have been a storyline with him in Station 19 for them to
but I feel like it still kind of made enough sense because he was on the case with the bear people today. And
That's
so
true,
like I feel like it took him back to those moments and kind of made him rethink everything. And if I kind of remember from last week's preview of this episode, I guess it was more of a preview for Station 19, but I kind of want to say that Jackson was there in the woods with Vic when it all happened.
Hence when he says, and yes, there was bears.
Got it.
Okay.
So that's why I'm kind of thinking that he was actually there and he probably came with the patient. And that's just the pieces I'm putting together using context clues.
This is why she's on this after show.
Using context clues here. But so as much as I want Maggie and Jackson back together, like I definitely do, and even 2 episodes ago I was kind of saying that I felt vibes, but I want them to be endgame. like I want them in game. But right now, I just felt like he was just playing tricks with her again.
I don't think
I didn't think that.
I don't think he's playing tricks. I said it before. I do think they're going to end up back together. But I think they're going to go with this storyline very slowly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, well, like it just kind of made me like I just went into like Maggie mode in that moment, and I'm just envisioning myself as Maggie, him coming and apologizing, this apology you have waited so long for, because that moment and that trip was ultimately what broke your relationship up.
Right.
So she's been waiting for this moment, and right as she's strong enough and we kind of are getting these vibes that she's done with him, he shows up at your door, he apologizes, and then afterwards you're left feeling like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, like it would just,
it
would like pull on my heartstrings a little, and I would kind of come back, I would open this door again that I had kind of closed.
Because they obviously still have feelings for each other.
I don't want them back together.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
kind
you
of
and
want
Jackson
Maggie
for
with
yourself.
some. I mean, Jackson been kind of putting some little player moves. I don't know if you can handle me. I'm a little crazy, okay, Jackson? But
So if Jackson walked through this door right now,
I'd be like,
They
hey, babe, that was just your character, so come over here.
But I will say, because basically I guess where I'm getting is he kind of leading her on in a wrong direction is because I'm thinking back to the couch incident.
yeah.
You know, whenever they had like that moment, like that's the kind of the same vibes that I'm getting.
Yeah.
For sure.
Let's someone who also has strong feelings for someone is Joe for her boo Alex, who is nowhere to be seen.
He's not on the show anymore.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
He's gone.
Yeah, he just
Hasta la
disappeared.
vista.
No word or anything. But yeah. So she is freaking out. He's gone AWOL. He's not responding back to her.
Yeah.
And now she's dealing with these patients who one guy gets attacked by the bear.
Saves his wife from the bear.
saves his wife from the bear. Then we find out that his wife is cheating on him. And so this gets in Joe's head, and she's like, is Alex cheating on me? And
Okay.
I just felt awful for her. What did you guys think about that situation?
I feel awful for the patient. But what the heck?
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm over it. Like, you know
The
what I mean?
Joe
Like,
thing?
no, just I mean, we know that Alex is not on the show.
Yeah.
As a fan, I'm watching this knowing that Alex Karev is not coming back.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's fine that we're like hearing his voice on a voicemail, etc. It's kind of like the same thing they've done with Christina Yang over the years. But in this situation, we know he's not coming back. So it's like, we need to somehow wrap this up.
Yeah.
And instead of dragging it on, because it's making me not necessarily have the desire to see Joe, because there's just kind of this empty void with Joe as a character right now. And whenever she comes into the play, I'm just kind of like, okay, like I know you're not gonna have much substance right now. Like, I just want their storyline to be done.
Yeah. I want to talk about the patients real quick of Joe. Did you the guy who was cheating with the wife, when he gave that monologue, did you agree with him when he said, he's not a bad person?
No, I did not. You could try to sugarcoat it all you want. You could sugarcoat a murderer. You're still a murderer.
But whose fault is it more, the wife's or his? Because he was telling her, I told you need to tell him. It's time for you to tell him, and she didn't tell him.
It's always more so the person that's in the relationship, because at the end of the day, you're the one with the commitment.
Yes.
But at the same time, you, as a man, know she's in a committed relationship.
No, you're right.
So why are you hopping up in this? Why can't you go get us? I'm sure you could find somebody else that's just as great.
Yeah.
And now look, her husband dead, and now you living like, guilt.
And speaking
You're just
of
guilty.
her husband dying, one thing that came to mind was when Joe walked in, the first thing she said was, did he find out?
Yeah.
Not, is he
okay?
okay?
Right.
Did he find out? And
That's
that
horrible.
shows what she really cared. She didn't really care about about his well-being, and then she finds out, and it all hits her.
Yep.
Helm was gonna go in the residence.
Yes.
She was
Yeah.
about to go in and cuss her out.
See, and I wonder, and then, I mean, we obviously saw the patient distraught when she's told the news and she tells her lover to get out. I'm more so wondering if it's just kind of a state of shock at this point, and then now in a situation where she never had to really make a decision, like she had her lover, she had her husband, she was having her cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
Now she can't eat her cake anymore, and she has another piece just sitting there, and now she's gonna have to really make some decisions with this new relationship. Obviously, they're not gonna be around that much longer. I'm like psychoanalyzing the relationship, but yeah, It was weird.
Let's real talk about Schmidt and Miko. Nico.
That guy, Nico.
That guy, Nico.
I'm disappointed in Nico.
He's such a hypocrite, because this whole time he was kind of just like, oh, I can't be with a baby, like coming in, just seeing how their relationship developed and him kind of pushing Schmidt to tell.
Yeah,
and
he almost was
everything.
trying to act like he was kind of like he was like superior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he knew what he was doing this whole time, blah, blah, blah. And I am not going to lie, that was a curveball I didn't expect.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens with that.
I thought he was getting tired of Schmidt, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Same. I thought it was going to be like, bruh, I don't want you to meet my parents. Like,
you're
I'm not
clingy.
ready for that.
Right. And real quick, I'm excited the kids got reunited.
Yes,
Yay!
that was cute.
Adorable.
That's cute.
All right, let's go
The one happiness of our episode.
Exactly. Let's go to our special segment, Doctor Who.
Yes, you guys, let's play Doctor Who. For those of you guys who don't know what Doctor Who is, I'm going to name a doctor from any of the seasons, and my panelists over here have to guess. You guys could play as well. I have to hide my thing, because you know they be cheating.
I'm not looking.
All right. You're my best friend in this place. If I don't have you, I'm done for. Who said it?
I'm going to take a shot in
You're
the dark.
my best friend in this place. If I don't have you, I'm done for.
Can you give me a quick hint? Is it like a Power 5 doctor?
I'll tell you, it was in this season.
Oh. You're my best friend. Wow, really?
Yep.
I don't...
Okay.
And it's not a power doctor.
Is it Helm?
Oh! Boom! She got it!
Wow.
Yes! Helm.
I was going to say...
What were you gonna
wrote
say,
it
Benny?
down.
I was going to say Christina, but then you said, oh, it was in this season. I was like, well, never mind.
I
All
even
right.
wrote it down.
One more real quick, you guys. Ready?
Okay.
Perfect Penny killed my husband.
I'm so bad at this.
All right, I'm gonna say it one more time. Perfect Penny killed my husband.
That could be so many.
Meredith.
Yep. There
Yeah.
we go.
Yes.
You got
I
it.
got a little too excited there.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, Benny. Yay.
Finally.
I almost called you Penny because it's just in the quote.
I'm so proud of you, Penny.
Awesome. Well, that was a fun
Look,
game.
he's so excited he won.
I know.
Yeah, see, I told you could do it if you just believe.
I'm going to be a happy guy the rest of the day. All right, let's go to some news and gossip.
Yes.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so I'm hearing news about our friend Justin Chambers, aka Alex Karev. As you guys know, he's off the show. If you guys didn't know.
No.
Sorry.
So the showrunner, Krista Vernoff, she gave some info about it, of how his character arc is gonna be. And she said, was a very careful threading of a needle where we are giving a little bit of information and pain to Joe. She said this to Variety.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what they're doing, they said it was going to be a couple more episodes. So I'm sorry, Haley. It is going to drag on to where their storyline is going to drag on their relationship. And I think where they're aiming for, they didn't say it, but they were kind of hinting that Joe and Alex are slowly separating.
Gotcha.
But you know what? I am glad that they are taking their time with it, because it seems like they want to make his exit the best as possible with the situation that they're in, since he's not here.
See, I would have rather it been a tragedy and then like everyone be sad and mourn him, and then all of our best doctors have all had these very tragic deaths.
Yeah.
And had these huge exits, like with him doing it like they're just kind of like slowly erasing him out of like history, and I just don't like that.
I agree. I think he deserved a way better exit, especially since he was an original.
Right.
We got
And
people who weren't even originals
That's what I'm
that
saying.
got a
And
better
because he's
exit.
kind of gonna exit kind of like a dirtbag. Like you just got married to this woman, you just brought her from her darkest,
Literally,
and then now you're just leaving her, and you're never gonna talk to her again. And we're never gonna see you. Like it just like he's just kind of leaving, not on the best terms. But.
And one thing I did like in that article, it did say they want to be really, you kind of touched on it, they want to be really careful with Joe, because they don't want to put her back into that dark place that she was in last season, which I can understand that.
For sure.
So it's gonna be interesting, you know. It's a situation that I wish was different, but you know, you're dealt with the hand you're given, and
I don't know.
We'll
Let
see.
us know in the chat if you guys like this idea that they're going with the storyline, or if you guys want them to just be done.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay.
We both said it like
We've done that
twins,
way too many
y'all.
times today. I'll start.
You could go.
Okay, so I think what's gonna happen is between this whole Link, Amelia, Owen situation, I think Owen right now is storming out of that house, going straight to Owen. Did I say Owen storming
Yeah.
out? Link is storming out of the house, going straight to Owen, is going to tell him, hey, this is what's going on with Amelia. Like, letting him know. I think Owen is then going to be the one to talk sense into Amelia because he's always kind of been that calming presence for her. I think he's going to then talk her into, hey, we need to figure this ish out.
Yeah.
They're going to figure it out. And while doing that, Owen's going to be like, look, I love Teddy. I know that you love Link. We're in good places in our lives. Like, you and I can be friends, but I think they're finally going to get the closure that they need. She's ultimately going to get the test. It's going to be Link's, and then everyone's going to be happy.
You know
Yep.
what? If we
She
go-
just wrote the whole thing, the whole episode. I'm going to go with a different storyline and go with Bailey and those kids. So everybody got a home except for the big kid.
Yeah.
I think that Bailey's going to adopt.
I've said this.
Yes.
I did say this.
I think she's going to adopt
Yep,
him.
I
That
said
would be
this.
perfect. She lost a child. She
Yep.
can't have anymore.
Did I say that last week?
We were
Did
saying you were saying Joe. Did you say Joe?
Yeah.
Someone
I
said
did.
Joe.
I
yeah.
did say Joe. I said Joe. I think I thought Bailey before. I don't know, but yes, I agree with you.
I could see Bailey adopting him.
Yeah, 100%.
I can actually see Joe doing it.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
with Alex going, she needs some type of storyline.
Storyline, yep.
I
Who
can
knows?
see-
Bailey and Joe might just share custody.
Exactly. Exactly. Real quick, I think that Maggie and I was going to say Jesse Jackson
I did that last week.
are going to get back together, but we'll have to wait and see. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another after show. I'm your host, Benny Adams. You can find me on all social media at Benny J. Adams.
Yes, and I'm your girl Lanisha. You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Lanisha, spelled Lanisha 914.
Wow, that's so fun. And you can find me on Instagram at Haley Graves with 2 S's. That's HALEYGRAVESS. And on Twitter, Haley1Graves2.
Thanks for joining us, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.